Yo, with Salahart just coming out, I'm going to be dropping a full oath tier list. I'll do this by giving a grade to the passive of the oath, which include these, and the mantras. Start with Oathless. Alright. Vision Shaper is next, and then the passives get a C. This is just because they are lackluster, although the mantras are great and they get an S. And this is because it can be broken with certain mage builds. I'm going to be bumping it up to an A. Blantier is in the same boat, C to B tier mantra, or passive sorry, and S tier mantras. I put the passive low just because All Seeing Eye is kind of useless. It gets no HP, and the only kind of worth passive it gets is being immune to Gaze and Glare, which is a good passive. Tranquil Circle is definitely absurd though. I'm going to be putting Blind Seer right on top of A. Link Strider is next, and the passives are probably the worst in the game. It only gets the TP, and be real, when is the last time you saw someone use the TP? Because of this, I'm going to be putting the passives of Link Strider at D. The mantras although have a ton of uses, both PvP, PvE, as a support offensively, and they're pretty easy to use. Because of this, I'm going to be putting the mantras at a grade of A. The reason for this is because certain mantras like Sustain and Leech have zero use in certain situations, in most situations. All in all, I'm going to be putting Link Strider at the bottom of B. Jet Striker is next. And because it doesn't obviously have any mantras, I'm just going to be grading the passives. And they're pretty good, especially if you slap on Obfuscation Enchant on a spear, it can be really devious. Although, some of the passives are pretty useless, and it doesn't give HP, which makes me put Lake Strider at a solid A. Star Kindred is next with some of their better passives. It gets insane movement with wings, like absurd movement with wings, and on top of that, it gives 8 HP, making me give the passive grade an A. As most of you know, Celestial Assault a couple weeks ago was the best mantra in game, no doubt. Although it got nerfed, it's still pretty good, which makes you put Star Kindred at the top of A. Arc Order is next, and in my opinion, Arc Order is the most slept on oath. Now, it has no doubt the best passives in the game, plus 10 HP, 15% mantra and M1 reduction, increased movement, and it gets no stun for free. But no doubt, Arc Order is S++ for its passives. The mantras actually aren't that bad as people make them out to be. They aren't anything to go crazy about though. They proc burn, which is really good, but the moves themselves can be pretty predictable to see coming. They do have really big hitboxes though. But because of this, I'm going to give it a B in terms of the mantras. The passives still carry the entire oath though. Arc Order gets an S. Dawnwalker, like Star Kindred, is kind of good all across the board. With plus 10 HP and decent passives, it gets an A. And then an A for the mantras as well. Although I'm still going to be putting it below Star Kindred because Celestial Assault is definitely a better mantra than Radiant Kick even after the nerf. Contractor isn't an oath you see that much anymore, and for good reason. As for the passives, they're pretty shit with it only getting the tethers. It gets a C for passives. The mantras are actually pretty good though. Equalizer got worse as people adapted to it. Judgment still serves as a really good gank mantra though, and because of this it gets an A to the mantras. With this, I'm going to be putting it at the same tier as Link Strider. Now, the last oath is Silent Heart. I'm sure a lot of you see clips of people getting hit by a bar damage on ones everywhere, and it goes without saying that the builds you can make with this oath are definitely devious. The passives get an S, and I'm counting the uppercut and the ankle moves as mantras, and because of this, it gets an A. The uppercut isn't that great as it gets AP frames, so once people adapt to it, it's going to get punished a lot more. The ankle cutter is still really good though. It does absurd damage, and it can serve sometimes as a pretty good mix-up. This might be the best oath for a lot of you right now, but Salahart is the only oath that gets an active downside in combat. You can't use any bloodless mantras, you can't use reinforce, you can't use any mantra mix-ups, and this oath is really bad in ganks, like terrible in ganks. You cannot chase anybody whatsoever, and if you're in the water, you're just dead, you have zero movement. This makes me want to put the oath below Arc Order in S. Yes, now Arc Order is the best oath in game, and soon you guys will see the true potential of the oath. But yeah, with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're this far into the video and you watch this much, you're telling me you're not going to subscribe? Come on. But yeah, peace.